Hello there. Welcome to another episode of What Do You Call It podcast. I'm your host, GB. Good to be back. It's been about nearly 2 weeks now. I did put it on Twitter that I would be having a short break, but I'm back now. And today's guest is the freshest, the flyest, and the finest. Might have still that one, to be fair. Harrison Leon, how you doing today, mate? You all good?
Very well, thank you. Lovely, lovely introduction as always. I feel like people always get the freshest, flyest, finest thing like mixed up. My trainer does it purposely to annoy me. I'm happy with people do it right.
Thank you. It's only because I got there, so my memory.
I've got cues.
If I had to memorize it, even though it's like just literally one line, I would fuck it up. So, yeah, I can't.
Well, you did your homework. You did well. You did well.
Thank you. You got to give me some credit, mate. Got to give some credit. But it's good to have you on,
Huge.
mate. I'm going to ask quickly: are you a legit 6'6", or is that kayfabe?
Yeah, legit 6'6". Everyone always like. And to be honest, when I'm in my boots, I'm probably like 6'7". To be honest, I feel like I have kind of buried myself now because I feel like I could get away with lying and saying I'm taller than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon I could get 6'8" out of it, but no, yeah, shoot 6'6", tall, lanky guy.
No. I mean, I've noticed
Yeah.
like in the match, not the lankiness, sorry, the height. And for what I've seen, I've just seen like you're actually pretty fucking tall, and like like Hulk Hogan's supposed to be like 6'6", and you think like other people same level. So I just had to ask, like Kane Undertaker, but then you notice Kane's like got the the platforms.
Do you know what? So we went down to Clash at the Castle in Wales.
Great show.
Me and a couple of the boys, yeah, and we bumped into some of the superstars on the street. And like Damien Priest, for example, I've got a photo of him, and I'm like taller than him, and I was like, it's weird because you see these people on TV,
Yeah.
you're like, you're
And
giants.
he built at 6'6" as well.
Do you know what? I think he's built at 6'5". I will give him that because when I then
I'm
watched
gonna
him, I was
double
thinking,
check
I was
this
like,
whilst you're telling me the story because it's gonna bug me.
yeah, because I was like, he better not be sick. Because I was thinking,
Comes up as
I
well. One
felt
of the
taller
first
than,
things.
yeah, I feel taller than him.
Six
So
foot
that was
six build height. So, oh my god,
your,
WWE lying to us. They'd never do that.
your boy is 6'8" now. No, if I make it to WWE, I want no one coming back to this podcast and calling me out for this.
What's that? You've always loved WWE, haven't you? Like we will get to the praise of WWE, but Clash at the Castle, because I actually spoke to Tony Sin. We'll get to him
Yeah,
in a minute. But how did you find it overall, the experience, the show, going to Wales and meeting the wrestlers?
loved it. I am a geek to my core with wrestling, and it's been something like I feel like I've been a geek about it for like a long time. But I think up until I started wrestling and had like other people who because I'd watch it all the time and never talk about it because I didn't have any other friends who watched it.
Mm-hmm.
So then being able to go to Cardiff with some of my boys and be around other people who are just so gassed to be there, and the
Mm-hmm.
energy and the atmosphere in Cardiff around it was insane. Everyone was buzzing. Being in an actual venue, I mean, I have to admit that was my second WWE event, and
Mm-hmm.
I love it for the atmosphere. I do think you get more from watching it at home with like camera angles, and unless you've got really
Yeah.
good
It's
lucky
easier to kind of
seats.
like absorb it in a way because when you're live, it's a bit distracting sometimes,
Yeah, and
in
like
my opinion.
we had like we had goodish seats. But we had like the stadium just wasn't great for it. Like we had like the concrete stairs coming down, so it kind
Yeah.
of blocked the big Titantron in the middle of the stadium, so you couldn't really see it there. And the screen which we had there was like a second delayed, so you'd hear a oh, and then it happened on the screen. So it was really hard to adjust
Yeah. I know
what
what you
you're
mean.
watching. But atmosphere wise, sick.
Mm-hmm.
100% worth the travel and the hours that it took to get there. And I'm really hoping they do something again,
Mm.
like
I
in
think
the
Triple
UK,
H
because
has kind of confirmed that they will probably do another year, like on a yearly like event now, because of how much it's generated, like in terms of business and merch and everything else, in
yeah,
terms of viewership. And
the
we love our
the
wrestling.
amount of
We deserve
the
another stadium show.
the amount of money they must have made from that show is a joke
Mm.
because like all the t-shirts were like that little bit more expensive than they are online.
The merchandise was fucking horrific, by the way. I went to the shop. I mean, each their own. Not going to knock anyone that bought it, but I went to the shop myself. I saw it, and I just like, nah, I can't do this.
I was happy that it wasn't great because I was a bit worried. I was thinking I'm going to spend so much money on merch,
Yeah.
and I could feel it, and I could feel it in my bones. And then I got there, and I was like, okay, there's nothing here, which I'm like, I can't leave without. So I felt happy. My bank balance said thank you for it. But yeah, otherwise incredible experience, and I like it's made me want to go to because I've never done like one of the big shows abroad, but I'd love to
like
go
WrestleMania,
to
something, a Rumble.
yeah, a Rumble would be just insane. I'm just hoping whenever they do something in like New Orleans again, because I think the atmosphere of the city as well is really important. I'd love to hit up one of them. So yeah, on the to-do list. But yeah, insane. Did you enjoy it?
Loved it. Thought it was brilliant. Thought Gunther and Sheamus. I know everyone said it, but it was to me the match of the night. Dominic's heel turn genuinely got to me. I was just like, fuck! And Edge's theme songs, they were probably the highlights for me. But loved it. But we're not here to talk about my review because I'll be here all day giving you little nitpicks. But we're here to talk about you. And I get the impression that you are a lifelong wrestling fan. What actually got you into wrestling in the first place?
Yeah, I'd say life. It's been pretty much most of my life. I think I felt like I was quite late getting into it, so I got into it when I was about like 10 years old, maybe. Which actually, when I think about it now, is actually a pretty normal age. When I see like some of the fans in the audience, it was like a pretty normal age to get into it. I've never been a fan that's kind of had his off season. Like I've stayed pretty consistent for the past 17 years of watching it.
Yeah.
So it's always been quite a big part. But yeah, it was pretty simple. My mum was seeing one of her friends, and she had a son who was watching wrestling, and I was like, "This is pretty cool." Never seen it before, never understood it, and I loved like fighting. I used to love like the fighting games growing up and stuff like that, Tekken and all that sort of stuff. So it was like real life Tekken in my head. And then yeah, like some of the. To be honest, it was a social pressure thing. I'm not into football.
I know you said that before recording. I know.
Yeah, I'm not into football, so I can't divulge into any. I can't get divulged into any.
If Joel listened to this, he might have a little go at you, but I know he's an Arsenal fan. But yeah,
we had a really awkward moment the other day at the show actually, and we'd done our matches and stuff like that. Me and Joel were just sort of like out the back, not out the back, but kind of near the where some of the kids can walk past.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, and then Joel was like making a joke about one of the kids wearing a football shirt, and one of the kids looked at me and was like, "What team do you support?" And I was like, "Arsenal." I can't get into this. Like, I can't be like, "Oh, I love football."
Yeah,
I can't do it. But yeah, I didn't really like football growing up, but some of the boys really liked wrestling, and my friend had watched it, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna get into it."
mm-hmm.
And yeah, it just was something which I think I love the storyline aspect of it, and I think it's the characters of the good versus evil, which I think is wicked. The storyline, which actually consistently got me into it, is probably a bit of a rogue one. But it was the Mickey James and Trish Stratus Stalker storyline. I don't know what it was.
That's brilliant. It was actually built up really well. No, there's nothing wrong with this. I actually got speaking games actually last week. Just
I saw that was that's
part of me after I just
moment.
out. Like I got to be professional, part of the podcast. But I was like, this is awesome. But continue.
I watched it on your Instagram, and I was like, that is cool. I was like, I'd mark out.
Yeah, cool, this is awesome. After I came off the thing, the feed, I was just like, oh my god, this is names.
when I met these people, so we met in the street at Cardiff. We met Austin Theory, Rhea Ripley, Damien Priest, Matt Riddle, Dominic Mysterio, and I just lost all composure. I was like, can I get a photo, please? Like, really nice to meet you.
Did any of them mention your height, by the way? Because I've got a tall mate, and like a few of the wrestlers always going about his height.
Not really, which I like. So okay. Dominic, we had one of the boys who train or like is on a couple of our shows at Square Run. He's trained with Dominic Mysterio, and they're like friends. So I mentioned like was like, oh, do you know? And he was like, oh, how do you know him, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we sort of had a bit of conversation about that. Austin Theory has got a number one fan out of me because he was so lovely. Um,
Oh man, I
sorry,
didn't want to
Austin,
hear that. I wanted
breaking
to hear
character.
he was a dick.
No, he was so lovely, and like so. Then when he cashed
Yeah.
in the main event, I was like, do you know what? If he wins, I'm gonna be happy. I was like, I like him. He's giving me time
I
of day.
marked
He's
the
got a
fuck
new
out. I mean,
sport.
I love Tyson Fury as well, but I think how it was done, I just didn't see it coming. I was like, oh my god, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening. Tyson Fury, boom. I was like, I
Uh,
want to cheer, but I can't.
do you know, yeah, I hate Tyson Fury. I can sort of did it. I didn't really like. He it felt like it clouded the moment.
I
The
went
story didn't
home
need
as
to
soon
be
as the
there,
match
but
finished, but I saw like the bits when him and Drew were singing. I was like, thank God I went home.
yeah, I was really annoyed about that. I was really annoyed. I stayed. I was like, I should have gone home. I was like, I should have gone home. I'd have been happier. But Austin Theory, if he'd have cashed in and won, I'd have been like, do you know what? I'm his number one fan now,
I'm
so
up to
I back him
Fury then. Oh
100%.
man, I'll have to go meet him one day. Like, meet and greet. I
Yeah,
can't do the
yeah.
airport thing. Like, that's just weird. But
No, I would never. I would never. It was literally because
I saw
we
this
were
like
at.
loads of people that on a Facebook group, and they're basically like, "Oh, just bumped into Dominic Mysterio, just bumped into Charles Robinson, like they're just walking around the
No,
streets." But you got lucky because you went on the Friday, didn't you?
yeah, that is literally what happened. It was just bumping into that. So we went on the Friday,
Lucky.
yeah, and we were sat at O'Neill's having a few drinks,
Yeah.
and we were like, it was so funny as well because always like one of the boys was always like in the toilet or something like that when someone came past. We were like, oh, we've got Dominic Mysterio, and like Adonis Payne missed it, and then we went and saw Matt my brother-in-law missed it, and then Tony missed when we saw Dominic, like, or I can't remember who he missed,
Just the time.
but it was just
You
so
can't
funny. It
make
was
it up,
just
can
so
you?
funny. I loved it. It was so good because we were just like, but yeah,
I had to pay to meet some of the wrestlers. I went to the convention. I actually got to meet Mickey for free just by good timing, but it was a bit of a shit
post it.
show. But they made up to me a little bit because I've actually contacted them before, but it was all good. So I got to meet Summer Rae, Nina Samuel. She was lovely. She was really cool. And
Yeah.
who's the other one? Summer Rae, Emma Lena. Forgot her real name. What's it? I forgot what she goes by.
Neil
But yeah,
Dashwood.
they were all cool. They were all really nice, but it was just a bit a shame. It sort of didn't really get me in the mood for Clash at the Castle because of how poorly organised. I'm going back to Clash at the Castle now. Yeah, sorry, we was talking about your storyline, Mickey James and Trish. So we can just easily ramble on now.
Yeah, yeah. And then, no, honestly, that's when you get into the wrestling rabbit hole,
Oh, it happens,
you can
man.
just get into it. You're just like,
Dangerous
oh, and then
thing.
this, and then yeah, it's so dangerous. It's really hard when you're trying to like construct a podcast episode out there because you're like, you can talk for ages.
Point A, point B. Yeah,
And then,
Hogan's Andre. Yeah.
but yeah, because it was that WrestleMania. I can't remember which one. The 21,
22. I'm that sad, I know.
No. 20. No. Well, I had 22 in my head. I just didn't want to say it with chest. That WrestleMania was the first WrestleMania I saw. Because like one of my best mates was really into it.
Mm-hmm.
And he like lent us the video of it. Like he burnt it off Sky Sports, and we watched it.
Oh,
A
God,
few months
recording
later, and that was my first that was my first WrestleMania that I saw. And obviously that was a combination of the Mickey and Trish storyline, but then there was like the triple threat with like Ray, Kurt Angle, and Randy Orton that really stuck out of my head. And then yeah, it's just like one of the ones where it just ever since then it's just sort of stuck with me, and it's been something that has been so important in yeah, it's just nice because it just has always felt like my thing, which I've just always really been into. And yeah, just really loved it. I can't remember what the first initial question was, but how I got into it, how I
How
got
you got
into
into
wrestling.
wrestling? No. I
Yeah,
love like this. So sort of you getting to know you, and just the story becomes a story, but in a good way. And it's sort of
yeah,
like WrestleMania 22, by the way, is criminally underrated. Peter Gabriel, big time. Shine down there. You know, I absolutely adore that WrestleMania. Like it's one of the last ones I taped on VHS as well, and just staying
like
up to watch
big
it. And,
time.
oh
I'm
God.
on the way to
Oh,
the big time. Yeah,
days. So I'm singing Shine Down now.
I know.
I'm not going to ruin the listeners' ears when I attempt to sing, but big time Peter Gabriel, phenomenal WrestleMania track, top five. The
Yeah.
WrestleMania itself is probably my top five. Chef's kiss. Who were some of your favourites growing up as well?
I get most like I am just throughout my life. I like the classics, not the classics, but I like the mainstream stuff. Like
Yeah,
as you can see with my big Drake poster over here. John Cena is my goat. will always be my GOAT. I'll have no bad words said about him. I don't know what it was that I don't know what it is that drew me to him.
Was
And
it
like, it's
hustle,
annoying because
loyalty, and
like probably one of,
respect that got you into it?
it's a motto I live by, bro. It's a motto I live by. It's I just think his presentation was like so cool. I think like because I was kind of in the sort of like the chain gang like era. So it's just before hustle, loyalty,
Let's bring
respect,
back memories.
after just after like Doctor Thugonomics, it was all like the dog tags and like
Yeah.
the army cap and all
Or
that stuff. Which
saluting
is
and
sick.
yeah,
like bam. Yeah, he's just the GOAT. But then I think I hated Edge and Randy Orton growing up, but that's because they were really good at their job and they were like John Cena's main arch rivals. I loved people like Carlito, Shelton Benjamin, and then
I like this. Good monster so far.
Yeah, just and then also as I said, like I was really into
the Trish and Viscera.
Yeah, Jin Snitsky. No, but I was really into like women's wrestling was something which I loved as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because maybe I had a really short attention span and they only used to get smaller matches. But it's like and I feel like I'm a big underdog person.
Yeah.
So like when the Divas Revolution was happening, I was like, yeah, they should be having more time and they should be getting the opportunities. So like I loved people growing up like obviously Trish Stratus, Melina, and all because I feel like as well they had such a short amount of time to get a character across, and they still managed to be so much more impactful than so many other people that have sort of gone through the WWE machine. Loved people like John Morrison.
I was a big Eminem fan.
Yeah,
loved them.
Yeah, because but that's for me. Like I'm a bit of a not a gimmick guy, but I like when they've got something about them, and then they're like little slow motion thing, Melina splits, and they held the titles down on their weight.
They just looked like rock stars. They were so cool.
Yeah, you just done something which makes you feel that little bit out there, a little bit special. So yeah, like I had like weird favorites kind of growing up.
I'll let you off. I'm still good.
Like
Shelton Benjamin, Carlito, Eminem with Nina, and Trish and Mickey, and the GOAT, as you said, John Cena. I mean, I was sort of in the bandwagon. I'm gonna admit that. Hold my hand up. I jumped in when it was like the cool thing to boo, Cena sucks, Cena can't wrestle on the keyboards and the forums, and I just realised as I got older, like he's really fucking good. Like he does what he does.
When he's done, when he's done what he's done, and also I'm sorry about that. The Royal Rumble return when he comes out and he's like, I know. Kiss, on his Royal Rumble return.
Literally, like it's supposed to be for like 9 months. It's gonna miss Mania, comes out like Royal Rumble, and everyone's like, that was awesome.
But yeah, like I feel like it's with the sort of people which I like. John Cena, he's one of the ones he's lasted so long. He's always evoked emotion. Yeah, I think he obviously, when they all make the comparisons with Charlotte being like super pushed and stuff like that. I think when you're a fan of them, you don't see it because I never thought he was like rammed down the throat. I just thought he was top of the game.
I know what you mean,
top of the game, but
you understand why though.
But yeah,
he made money. He was bringing in the audience and selling merch. Like it's just like it's not just a case of because he doesn't do like 25-minute Ring of Honor matches. He sucks.
Have you seen the YouTube video of him when it was like his 20-year anniversary and he was like going through his first match? He's like dissecting it, and that when you've started doing matches, it's such an interesting thing to watch as like a worker, because he's got such a different take on how he does a match and the things that he's learned, and he's such an expert of what he's done. So yeah, I just love him.
Have not watched it. I will find it. But now, I mean, just to sort of grow up, like, Cena is awesome. Like when he followed me on Twitter, I was like, I know he's following hundreds of thousands of others. Don't care, but it's in my notes.
Can I have a flex in the fact that John Cena followed me on my personal account like 2 years ago when he only followed like 10,000 people or something like that, and he had obviously so. I know that obviously he follows up now, but it was such a flex to me. So, and I just want to put that out there. He doesn't follow my
I literally screen grabbed it, snipped it, put it on my Instagram, Facebook. Although people didn't necessarily know John Cena, I was like, yeah. Yeah. But really, deep down, I know he's following everyone else, but I don't care because I've seen people begging for him to follow him, but he don't follow them. So yeah, there we go. But yeah, no. To sum up, Cena
Yeah.
is one of the best. 100% love him. So, what actually inspired you to become a wrestler? When did you know that you wanted to do this?
Um, I always made comments about how the fact that I wanted to do it, but just never had the means to, and I never knew like a place to do it.
Mhm.
I wasn't sporty at school. I was bottom set PE. I wasn't athletic, like I didn't play sports, stuff like that. So it's not like I've been like some sort of really sporty person all my life. I don't know when I ever had that moment where I was like, "This is it. This is what I want to do."
Yeah.
Um, but it just was always something which I've loved it. As I said, like since I was 10 years old, like it's just been such a big part of my life. And then when I realized that I could do it, I was like, why would I not try at least like learn how to do it?
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, just took the made. Like I couldn't imagine my life not doing this now. Um, it's such a fulfilling, rewarding thing from so many levels, like from a creativity level. It's like sick being able to think of like, oh, this is a different way I can add a fold to this character, or this is a different way that I can present myself. And also like, when you get to like play like fantasy booker kind
Hmm.
of, because when you're watching like WWE, you're like, I wouldn't have done that with my character, with that character. I would have done
Yeah.
this and this. You kind of do it yourself because you're in control of your own thing. So that's awesome. You get to do the fans are amazing. It's such a gratifying, satisfying feeling to like make people feel like you see them actually being invested and they're like on with your character or they like react to certain things. That's amazing. Physically, it's wicked because you get to learn to do things. And I remember in my first session, I was doing like a sunset flip or something like that, and I was just like, "Oh, it was so cool."
Oh,
You see
first
Rey
session. That's
Mysterio
pretty
do it.
cool.
You see Rey Mysterio do it. You're like, "Oh, it's sick."
I'm better than Ray
Uh,
already.
yeah,
Should have told Dom that.
Booyaka, booyaka, booyaka. I was actually I think I was wearing my Latina Heat shirt when I saw him, and I was just like,
Oh,
yeah, flexing.
nice.
Um,
Oh man, he must have that must have got to him like his dad and stuff, like
yeah, I was just like Latino Heat
best
Steve.
storyline ever, by the way. Ray,
Yeah, fantastic.
love it.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I never had that moment, but it's one of the things where, as I said, like it's the best thing that I've done.
Mm.
Couldn't imagine not doing it now. Um, so yeah, like it's not really like I've not got the same sort of story like when Aiden White was on there and he was like, "Oh, I'm just watching WWE," and I was just like, but um,
Shout out to
I'm
Aiden
not gonna
White, by
say
the way. I know he
my
actually had to put in story. He had to put like, "Oh, Sherry supports Arsenal." Well, fuck you, Aiden White. We beat you yesterday. Set up yours. I do hope he listens to
yeah,
it. I do like him. I
yeah.
think it was a great interview, but just had to squeeze
He's
that in.
he's he's a real one, and
At this point, pause. Messaging me. Sorry. My reply. I'm kidding. So I
he,
let you.
he's he's a real one. And I think he's gonna do. I think he's gonna be fantastic. Just a lovely guy, and I really respect people who just feel like lovely people. But yeah,
Mm.
I'll just put that out there. I think he's good. I think he's gonna do fantastic. So yeah, but stop bigging up my mates. Yeah, so that was the moment I sort of decided, and yeah, so I'm really happy that I've done
Mm.
it.
Where did
Best
you
decision
train,
I
by the
made.
way?
So I'm a square one boy
Mm-hmm.
with the UBW guys up in Stevenage kind of way. Uh, been training there since May 2021, I want to say. So yeah, 10 months into matches now and a year and a bit into training. So yeah, it's all gone very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I
So
have
you
to
had been
admit.
training about a year or so.
Yeah, about that. It feels like, as I said, like I can't remember a time where I didn't. I generally can't remember a time where it feels like I didn't do it. But
Mm.
yeah, it's been consistent since then. So yeah, still very early days, I think.
No, good man, good. I want to actually ask you about Tosin, just because you have been in the ring with him, and obviously you've mentioned that you know him outside the ring, and I've had him on the guest. Thought it was a brilliant interview. I hope you will listen to it eventually. I'm joking. But I want to get your first impression of him. Like, how did you find him, and how do you sort of take him now? And now you've got to know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he's like one of my best mates.
yeah.
So uh, yeah, breaking kayfabe, guys. Arch arch rival in the ring. So I had a match with him on Saturday. And
yeah, that's what's leading to. I was going to ask about that.
yeah, I'll get to that in a moment.
No worries. Take time.
Tony Sin, yeah. I think we missed each other's first training sessions. Like he was there one time, I was missed the next week, and then we were both in there. We got off pretty similar to how our friendship. No, actually, no. I was about to lie. Then it was quite competitive at the start. We were both like physically able to do other things, and we were just trying to like one up each other. Kind of. This is what I've understood from my personal reflections and his personal reflections as well. Like from conversations, I think he felt quite challenged when I came into class, which he has also said. So I'm not putting words into his mouth. And then yeah, I think I actually thought about this the other day because I was thinking like, when did we become friends rather than just people we trained together? And like, I got a couple of tickets to a Progress show, so we went down because I just messaged him. I was like, "Do you want to come to watch this with me?" And then yeah, it's just blossomed into a beautiful friendship. I think we get along quite well because we're reasonably similar, but also very different.
But you also have that like healthy sort of rivalry in a way, like we want to one up each other, but not in a bad way. But same time, it's just, I think
it's a weird one. I wouldn't even so with him, Adonis Payne, who's another fantastic, incredible talent. It's just such a good little prick. Like it's just so good. Jackson Hart as well, who's obviously come on.
Yeah, like, big fan.
There's a different because it's not even like a competitive it's just such a good community. Like all us boys are just wanting each other to get to the next level and progress and push. And it's not even like they've got that opportunity. It's just a genuine like love and happiness for each other to do well with it, which is amazing. And they're all such incredible like guys, like Jackson Hart as well, like just sick guy. Sick guy.
So cool, isn't he?
So much charisma. So cool. Good looking. Ripped to shreds. Can do stupid, crazy things in the ring. Like he's just got such a big future ahead of him. And yeah, Adonis Payne, all that stuff. But yeah, like with Sin as well. Like it's just not a rival. We just want to do better with each other, and we'll message each other, being like, "Had a sick idea for you. What about this? What about this?" We're just pushing each other to get better. Which is just it's just wicked. Very grateful for a friendship group like that we've got in our sort of community.
Good lads. I'm sort of glad to have you on, and I've had them on previously. It's just I like it, and it's just you're all like my content as well. And I do give you all shout out. Just they're all great guys, and even I'm maybe breaking kayfabe a little bit. Aiden might be a bit of a prick with the Arsenal comment, but obviously I get the last laugh because he beat them. So I'm going to squeeze that in again because I know you can listen. I'm fucking tag him. There is one person I want to mention. You wrestled, and I can imagine this might have been quite a big deal to you. Charles Crowley, quite early in your career. Obviously, I know he's making quite a big name for himself on the scenes in the UK. I want to ask, how was that experience for you overall?
Yeah, second singles match against Charles Crowley, one of the fastest.
Really? Was that the second match?
Yeah. Against
I keep saying Crowley, but I know it's Crowley. I always keep saying it. My mate always corrects me, but yeah, continue.
Fantastic. So my first match was against Truman Roswell, who's again like making pretty good waves in the sort of Brit wrestling.
Yeah.
My second match was against Crowley, which is just insane. There's them two and Tommy Kyle, who's like my main trainer, who are like three of the nicest, most helpful people. Like they've been in the business a little bit longer than us. They've got so much more knowledge and understanding, and they're so good with guiding us and helping us. And they've gone like, you should do this, you should do this. Have you thought about this, etc. Charles Crowley, to work in a ring with him, because I was so nervous going into that match because obviously it's my second singles match, and if you're familiar with your work, and if people haven't been familiar with his work, who are listening, he's such a huge character. Like he commands
going back to what you used, like when you were a fan, people that stood out to you, but for you to be in the ring with someone like that must have been quite a cool experience as well.
Yeah, like he's one of the people who he just commands a room, commands a presence, and he's such a big personality. And I feel like I'm quite a big personality-ish. getting there in the ring. But I was like, I really need to step my game up. I need to be, and I can't just let his bright light put me in the shadow. So I need to like step up as well. So yeah, it was a real challenge from that perspective. But I think I learned so much from that. Learn things which we shouldn't do. I'm really praying to God that I get another with Truman and Crowley, get another chance to face them at another point, because I feel like I've learned so much since our match then, and that was only in like May time. That I'd love to like put it to work. But yeah, just incredible. I can't sing the praises highly enough, to be honest. Especially Crowley, and I really hope that he goes to the moon and further, because he's such a humble, lovely guy, incredibly talented what he does, knows his character, and and again, I'm a character guy with wrestling, and he's light years ahead of so many people in the industry at the moment.
Yeah.
I think he deserves all the flowers he gets and will get, hopefully.
Yeah, no, he's smashing it. I've seen stuff in progress as well, and I think that match is actually on YouTube with you and Crowley. I always say, I know. That's just, mate, honestly. No, awesome. I'm going to ask one last question. It's a fun question. It's basically where I asked for you to pick 3 dream dinner guest party for your dream dinner party. It can be about wrestling, but it doesn't have to be. I know you're not going to mention any footballers, but you can mention Drake if you want, because I see him right there, and you point him out earlier. Up to you, dead or alive, fictional, whatever. Pick 3. If you can give a reason as to why you want them there, that would be awesome. But go.
Right. So I've had this question's been going through my head like all day, to be honest, about who I have. So
I love it.
And I've had so many different answers over time, and even now to this moment, I'm stressing out, because I feel like I want to get someone who's wrestling, someone who's music, but then someone who I think will be entertaining, and it's really quite hard because I'm also trying to think about the overall ambience.
Yeah,
so this is what I mean. I overthink about this stuff. So because I am the biggest stan for her, and I've been on a couple of podcasts. I don't think I've ever explained how much this person's like probably my favorite wrestler. Is parallels John Cena, but Sasha Banks is my favorite. Like, is legitimately like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
She is good, and I think she's missed. Like, not Naomi, not so much, but Sasha Banks is missed, in my opinion.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, just go like for me, like. Just I love like I've never seen a bad match with her personally. I'm just like so in the love goggles of how amazing I think she is.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. I think I'd want to if it's like one of the ones where I can just talk about everything. I'd want to just understand like what the beef happened recently.
What happened?
Her relationship with people behind stage and all that sort of stuff. Like, I just feel quite nosy. And also just to get a bit of knowledge about her character development and all that sort of stuff. Like, I just think she's.
Have you seen on the Hot Ones with the Wing Show when they eat food and stuff?
Yeah.
I liked her on that. For that came, I actually led her to getting the role on The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I just think she's incredible, and it really pains me so much that
she's got
even if she comes back, and everyone's like, oh, but she might come back with a Brock Lesnar like part-time thing. I was like, I don't want that. I want full-time. I want help working. When
Sasha, if you somehow listen to this podcast, please help my man Harrison. Like, come back. He's suffering.
The Golden Role Models era, when they were on like Monday, they were on like Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. I was like, this is the best thing ever, because I love Bayley as well. I was like, this is the best thing ever.
Bayley's great,
and they got so much segment. They got storyline. I was just like, this is fantastic. So it should be my first one. So then I've started being tactical with like. So then I'd also want Rihanna, because I think she'd be a good party guest. I think she's got good stories, and I think that I love music as well. Music's a huge passion of mine, like Drake. So I have excluded Drake from my top 3 because I feel like I would embarrass myself if I met Drake.
Yeah,
I'd be like, I love you so much. I think I'd keep out with that. Yeah, and I think like I think the energy of this dinner party would be good and fun, and I think we should like get a few drinks in, and it'd just be like good vibes. And then my third person is The Rock, which is such a basic person to have. because I think he commands so much. Well, actually, The Rock and Jay-Z were 2 and 2. Like it was a throw up
I
between
think The
one and
Rock
two.
would be more entertaining, but I think Jay-Z might be a bit more interesting.
Yeah, but I think loving wrestling, man. There's more I can learn from The Rock.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, I won't be releasing any rap albums anytime soon. Because I don't think the world needs to hear it. I don't think I'm going to go into the Fresh Prince character.
Please take me back, Sasha. Please come back.
I'll be doing the note. Yes, yo, so fresh out.
Your dog.
So I just think like that them three in a dinner party scenario, I think would just be funny. There'd be good laughs. There'd be people going crazy, but there'd be like so many interesting stories, and they've all got kind of like they've all on a Venn diagram. They've all got something that's kind of similar, like that sort of like balances them out, like the entrepreneurial billionaire sort of mindset.
What they do, they literally they follow their own ways, and I think this. I'm not saying it's the best one I've heard, but I think it's probably one of the most entertaining ones I've ever heard. That's what I'm going to say. If I had to sort of gate crash this party, I think that would be one of the ones that I would aim for. So I'll give you some massive thumbs up, and cheers. It's just water.
Thank you.
No, that was a good one. That was for other guests. Please don't think I was shitting all over yours. You are good guests as well.
Just set the bar higher next time, guys. Just do better.
Got Harrison Leon has just set the bar pretty high for this dream dinner guest question. I love it.
Here we go.
Hi there. I've got a special announcement for my next guest.
Hey, this is Diener with Impact Wrestling, and you are listening to What Do You Call It? Podcast.
Yeah, I heard. Awesome selection. One last question I'm going to ask you before we wrap up this fun interview. I've actually enjoyed this, by the way. Really good stuff, as I was saying in the break, whatever. So, what would you like to do in the next few years in your wrestling career? So, anywhere you want to go? Any like specific locations or any opponents in the UK or even outside the UK?
Yeah, definitely. But like I'm like really dedicated to it. I feel like I want to do really well with it. I really hope I can do well with it. I think my goal is in the next couple of years, I'm not sure when, I want to travel around America for a couple of months and just try to like learn at different schools, get different opportunities there. I appreciate obviously a lot bigger markets for that, but I just think it'll be good for me to like learn. I'm so engaged with like learning more about the business and developing my character. I think in the next year, just getting a couple more promotions will be awesome. Like just getting my sort of name out there, getting some more fans would be great.
We'll get your social media plug in a minute. Don't worry.
Yeah, guys, follow me. When there's like people I want to work with, I think like there's a very small like in the sort of imminent future. I obviously like had a match with Tony Sin just recently, which went amazing. I had like such a good time in there. But then there's people like I want to wrestle my boys, so like Adonis Payne, Jackson Hart, Tommy Cole, who's my teacher, Paul Hubris as well, who's done amazing. He's with like the Rhodes Wrestling Academy. That's from like a small sort of section of people that I know, and like memes as well. Like I'd love to have a match with him because he's again a big character sort of person. When it comes to like probably bigger than what I'm at now, there's people like Man Like Doris, Dan Maloney, who I think are just sick. Like the boys in the 8-7 as well. I think it would be Dan sick as well. It's like Warren Banks.
Warren Banks good. Like him.
Yeah, all them boys are just like all them boys are just on this different. They operate at a different level. They're people I'd love to sort of mix it up with from like a sort of that'll be me in like hopefully like 2-3 years time once I've like actually established myself a little bit more. And again, Crowley and Truman, I'd love to have a match again with them again. So yeah, that's the goal. I think I just want to keep working on it, keep improving, keep entertaining people, and just work on what I need to do to be the best in
to continue to be the freshest, the flyest, and the finest without looking out.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. You know it.
But I like it. You seem grounded. Like you know where you stand, but you know where you want to go as well. But also, you've got a good attitude towards the business as well, and I love that. Where can the listeners,
you.
as you were mentioned about gaining more followers, if they want to follow you, where can they find you, Mr. Harrison Leon?
It's not a gunpoint, guys. So don't worry if I don't get the followers. I won't take it personally. I just that I've just been like the worst guest.
I'll take it fucking personally, right?
So I won't take it personally, but when I make it to WWE, you won't be coming to wrestling with me. Off the Christmas card. No, it's Harrison Leon UK on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I'm pretty trendy.
I have seen some of your
wrestler
TikToks. People still trying to get me on it for the podcast, and I'm just maybe leaning towards it, but that's
I don't know how the kids do it. It's so hard. It's so hard to create good content.
No, I'm just like, comments logging. No, I can't be asked.
I'm too old for it. I just don't feel safe there. I'm just like, my first post I ever got, I got trolled on it. I was like, oh, this isn't safe.
That's how I safe space. Sorry, I had to get South Park.
Legit. So Harrison Leon UK across all socials. Good old content on the Instagram. So that's a place to hit me up probably, and Twitter actually. I'm all right Twitter.
Wicked,
wicked.
I will put those details in the description below in case anyone has missed them. Thank you, Harrison Leon, for coming on. It's been a blast. I actually enjoyed that. Sasha Banks,
thank you for having me.
Please come back so this man can start enjoying wrestling again. If you can.
Well, since Trips has taken over, I'm loving it again. But
it's been fucking brilliant. It's actually been brilliant. But make it even better for this man so it's perfect, not just great. That will be great. But for everyone,
full-time schedule, please, Sasha.
No Brock Lesnar shit, all right? Don't you dare negotiate. Don't you CM Punk it either.
Yeah.
No,
2 matches a year.
She's awesome. I miss her a little bit, to be fair. But that's cool. So she's got to do what she's got to do, makes her happy. Yeah. That's awesome. But I want you to keep being happy as well. And I want all my listeners out there, I want you all to be happy as well. Stay tuned. There's going to be more episodes of What Do You Call It podcast coming up this week. If you can like this video, subscribe to the channel and follow me in my social media handles in the description below. That would be fantastic, so I can continue producing awesome content on a weekly basis, like I have just done with Harrison Leon. The freshest. That was the fucking tournament. I tried to do it, but if anyone's listening to this, I'm just mumbling away. But it is what it is. But thank you for coming on. Everyone have a great weekend and take care. Hello there. I've got a special announcement for my next guest.
I'm Aidan White, the PT of professional wrestling, and I will be appearing on the What Do You Call It podcast.
You heard.